Today I am happy because I found out that I have featured in a Nerdrotic video. He actually showed my argument of the very popular meme where you have a company producing something for the people. And the people are happy, they're excited, they love the thing. But enters the moral busybody, which has a megaphone. He has access to the mainstream media, he has access to activists, and demands that the company changes the thing, because if the company doesn't, then it's an evil corporation, it's an evil entity that creates harm to the world. So the company, not wanting to lose face, not wanting to lose PR, it's going to cater not to the consumer, to the vast numbers of people that purchase the product, but instead it's going to cater to the moral busybody. And once it does so, people are leaving, and the moral busybody doesn't want to buy the product anyway because that wasn't the point. And you gotta admire the social justice activists because they keep hammering on. Whenever they see blood in the water, they laser focus. And they try and they try and they try until they have their way. You notice that with the right-wingers, and this is even when it comes to politics, they are completely different. Like if a right-winger tries to do something and he can't do it because the company said no, or because a court has ordered that what they're trying to do isn't constitutional, right-wingers will just stop. Meanwhile, the left will keep going. Like if a court tells them no, or if a company tells them no, they will keep the pressure, and they will keep it, and they will keep it, and they will try from other angles, and they will try other avenues until they finally get what they want. The best example, just to make a parenthesis here, is the Green New Deal, which didn't manage to pass the first time around. So now they spread it into two other deals, which is the Infrastructure Plan and the Build Back Better Act. So they keep trying, and they will just try and try and try until they will get things done. This is why I love leftists, because they actually know how to get their way. They are not weak. They are not pathetic. You might think it's like, oh, because they seem to be offended or whatnot. No. That is the tactic, that is the strategy of how they dominate other people. That is the strategy of how they push their will and their influence upon other human beings. It is a wonder to behold. It is a beautiful ideology that actually gets things done. Meanwhile, what does the right do? Absolutely nothing. They are weak. They cower in front of the powerful left. If you had right-wingers that would also write emails to companies, if you had right-wingers that would also protest whatever companies don't do things their way, then companies would have to remain neutral, because they would look at the situation and they would be, okay, we can either go with the left and we piss off the right-wingers, or we go with the right and we piss off the left-wingers. What about just creating a product and not answering to any of these provocations? That would be the end of this nonsensical culture war. That would prevent people who aren't even interested in the hobby to get into the hobby and change things. But unfortunately, we don't live in such a world. We live in the world where we look with awe and admiration towards the left that gets to influence society with their will, and they push their values upon other people who want to be left alone. So, yet again, you have another company, and this case is the Pathfinder tabletop RPG, which is going to remove slavery from their game after they have received what appears to be a petition. So someone made the petition, and because of that, immediately the company, just like a dog that has been abused, goes, bow, 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 please don't hurt us, bow, 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 and has changed the game. For the better? Not really. I mean, the idea of slavery in a video game, number one, doesn't hurt anyone. Number two, creates for interesting drama and interesting stories. I could have a role-playing game taking place where the party are enslaved by a race of giants, and then the party has to start a slave rebellion. Or maybe they try to cuddle up to the giants. Maybe they try to suck up to the giants so they get more privileges than the other slaves. They will still be slaves, but maybe now they are put to work into the household. They have better status. It's all up to the player. I mean, this is what role-playing games are. They show a lot of what the players are capable of, and it shows an interesting mirror of what the player might actually be like. But we can't have that anymore because, well, even in a kid's game, slavery is bad. I would love if the CEO of Pathfinder or the people who signed the petition, if they would go into the ghetto and they would look into the eyes of the people there that are starving and are poor, and they would say, I helped you out. I improved your life. I did this for you. I changed the kids' game so that I have cracked at the systemic racism that is going on in America. Me, by changing the kids' game, I have improved your life. Look at me. Look at me when I talk to you. Thank me for what I have done. Thank me for what I have did for you. Because at the end of the day, this is why a lot of right-wingers are angered by these changes. You have people that claim that everyone in society is evil because they partake in systemic racism, but they're the good ones, you see? They're the ones that are enlightened, and they're the ones that are helping society. So what do? How do they help society? They change a kid's game. Now congratulate them. Oh, you are such excellent people. You're such a good company, Pathfinder. You're clearly on the right hand of history. This is why right-wingers are really upset on what the left is doing, because they're not changing anything in society. They don't want to change anything in society, because if they did change stuff in society, they wouldn't have a platform anymore. No one would take them seriously. They're not people capable of creating something. They're not people capable of making the game like Pathfinder. The only thing they can do is remove things from Pathfinder, because to destroy is a lot easier than to create. So there you go. Another example where corporations cave in to the strong and firm fist of the left, because the left actually cares about winning. And what I love is just how lazy the company is. I mean, they're not even going to create a story to explain why slavery doesn't exist in Pathfinder anymore. They're not going to create maybe a wizard, a progressive wizard with a pink beard going back in time in order to change history. No, they're just going to remove it and provide no in-game explanation. So a medieval society just doesn't have slavery. Why? It's kind of like, I don't know, like people don't think about it. Like they don't think it's possible. Like no one knows. No one knows. No in-game explanation. Because again, it makes absolutely no sense. I mean, slavery even happens today. It just doesn't happen in America and in the Western world. It usually happens in Africa, in places of India and other places like that. No one talks about it because it's not, like, you don't get any political points for talking about it. You can't profit from talking about it. So that's why people don't talk about it. They have to go back into the past. They have to go through history in order to spark conversations about it, because that is politically advantageous. But anyway, right, so notice how it wasn't black people that got together and elected a representative so that the representative complained about the kids' game. No, it's like an anonymous letter that was on the internet, and it was like, oh, you don't understand how offensive it is. All right, okay, fine. Why aren't right-wingers getting offended? This is what boggles my brain. Why aren't people issuing letters? Like, the guy wouldn't be able to read that letter from the leftist if all the fans would have wrote their own letters. He would not have the time to go through the archive of letters upon letters upon letters upon letters of complaint in order to find the one from the anonymous leftist that also complains, right? Like, if every single fan would have complained, then complaints would lose their value, because there would be just so many of them. It's supply and demand. If you offer them a mountain of supply of complaints, then complaints would have no more value. But it is what it is. Yeah, the heck do I know? Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.